I'm Robert Mitchell, and this is the introduction to the Deepening course. So here's the introduction to the introduction. What do you get in this session? I explain what it is. I explain who I am and why I'm doing it. I'll explain what you get from the course, and then what we'll do is we'll have a break halfway through, and then after the break, we'll get into it. Basically, it will be an orientation session, and it will have everything that you need to know. Okay, so now I've got a screen up with everybody on it. If you want to get my attention, feel free to break in, or alternatively, put your hand up and we'll take it from there. Usually there's a little button down at the bottom of Zoom that allows you to do that. Okay, so who is this for? It is for experienced meditators. This is really an extension of the training that I've been doing. Whether it's you've come along to the meditation course online, or whether you've been along to the classes, the retreats, and the 6-week course. What I'll have done is taught you to meditate largely, and I will also have supported that in a whole lot of different ways that are useful for different people at different times. But then what happens is I stop and you get left to your own devices, basically. As your experience of meditation grows and the benefits that you gain from it grow, and the depth of your meditation practices grow, you're kind of largely left to your own devices, because I don't tend to and haven't done what I call emotional work. And emotional work is essentially, once we've calmed our mind, once we've found a calm, clear emptiness in our meditation practices, what happens then is we're left with our emotions. The practices that I teach in that area are things like acceptance. And acceptance is all about sitting with your emotions and learning to become comfortable with them. And I teach practices that help people to neutralize them, and so on and so forth. But what I don't teach you, although I provided a few little introductions to it, and session 5, the emotional resilience toolkit, is one of those on the 6-week course. What I don't teach you is how to take it further, how to build on what you've already learned and work through your baggage. Now there's a bundle of different names for all of this. Let me just, okay. There's a bundle of different names for all of this. Psychologists, refer to it by various different names, as do people that work in mindfulness and meditation, spiritual teachers, so on and so forth. But that's what it is, basically. It's baggage. And it's baggage that we pick up over the course of our life, and it gets stuck. We're designed to respond to our experiences, and we're designed to learn from them. It's designed to stay deep in our memory. And it's also designed to form part of how we work with the world. And a lot of this is really unhelpful. So, I mean, there's an infinity of examples. The one I tend to come back to is the imposter syndrome, where you feel like in some way you're not good enough, and you feel that you're inadequate. You feel that you're rejectable, unlovable. To greater or lesser extent, this is almost universal. And none of that's true. It's just not true. But we build on it. And then other things get, and you get like a log jam of this baggage. And so why am I doing this? Well, little potted history of my meditation experience. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. I wasted 20 years. I wasted 20 years of potential meditation growth and potential personal growth because I became distracted. I found a dead end. But the dead end was what many people and many of the books that I read and so on were saying, this is it. So it's a thing called the emptiness. Most meditators get to the point where their mind becomes very, very calm. And so meditation becomes, unfortunately, well, actually, fortunately, because at the time you really need it, it's part of the process. It becomes a little bit of a crutch. So you have a rubbish day, you can go home, sit down, and at the end of 30 minutes, it's gone for a while. So it becomes a coping mechanism. And people get stuck in that, and we get what we call maintenance meditation. That's what I call it, maintenance meditation. So imagine your mind's like a car. You've learned how to change the oil and the water, which is useful because you need to do that to keep it going. But if you want to race it, if you want to go up a mountain with it, you need to get the engine singing like a sewing machine. And to do that, you need to bit by bit learn how to change the spark plugs, how to tune the engine, check the suspension. Bit by bit by bit, you can learn more and more and more, and then you become an expert in yourself. And that maintenance meditation is an essential step, but really it's only a step in the process. And so that's where I was for 20 years. And then what happened is that I bumped into The Power of Now, which is a book by Eckhart Tolle. And I learned a new way of perceiving my life through the eyes of the present moment, being in the present moment. And I realized this is it. That's it. Everything else is in the mind. It's an imaginary experience, all imaginary except for this. And it's all right, all very well and good saying it, but do we act as if it's true? If you don't act as if it's true, you don't believe it. And I recognized it, realized it. Yes, of course, this is it. Just happened to be in the right place. What had actually happened was that because of the stress that I was under, the pyramid of belief that I'd created was ready to crumble. And that's when most people come to meditation. They come to meditation when that's happening. They don't come to meditation because they think in 20 or 30 years, their life, it could become difficult. So therefore, it's time to know. What happens is we wait until there's a psychological rock bottom. And then, from then on, we start meditating. And I've got a name for these meditators. Well, they're crisis meditators. So I went from a sort of maintenance meditator without a particularly good practice to a crisis meditator. But I was lucky, right? I was lucky that I found a practice which wasn't actually the practice that I was being taught to practice in the book by Eckhart Tolle called the Inner Body Meditation. I misinterpreted it, fortunately, because what it did was it gave me access to this place in us. And what I'll do is I'll draw this. Robert's famous quality drawing skills will be enabled for this. And I'll be able to hopefully give you an idea of where I found myself. Then what happened was a process which took a few years of working with, and it actually just feels like anxiety. So it just feels like anxiety. Some anxiety you can identify. Okay, so I mean, it might be fear of failure. There was a very typical one that came up. But often it might just feel like generalized anxiety. And what that is we're only anxious in, let's say, in a neutral present moment. Life is a huge succession of neutral present moments. Let's take an example. Here's a neutral present moment, right? There's nothing terrible in it. There's nothing fantastic in it. So it's a neutral present moment. I'm chatting, you're listening to me, right? Now, if one is anxious, we bring the anxiety into this neutral present moment and pollute it. And that's what happens all the time. But it's there for a reason. And it's anxiety about the experience that you're in. It's anxiety about the future. It can even be anxiety about the past, where you're actually responding to something that's happened in the past and you are embedded in it and it's not going anywhere. So what I did was worked as soon as I discovered that I could let go of some of this. I went through this iterative process of a thing that I call emotional release. And this isn't a word that I've constructed. It's a word that I learned from a lot of people that do this kind of thing, emotional release. So they run retreats, they do workshops and so on. And it's all about people releasing their emotions. It's very important I explain what the experience is like. Imagine, okay, so this is the peak experience of my life. Birth of my daughter. Okay. In terms of how you feel, it's like that. It isn't the same thing, but that is the level of joy that happens. Why? The way I figured it is this, is that it's like a rubber band, and life's just pulling down on this rubber band, and it's hanging on to the rubber band. And one day, let's go. And so the rubber band bounces up. That's the feeling. Yeah. We're dragged down. The emotion is the response to the belief not aligning with the reality. So there's the belief, there's the reality. When the belief gets released, back, and there's this wonderful feeling of joy. One of the reasons that I mentioned that quite early on in this, not only is it a key part of my story, which you have to understand, otherwise you're not going to do on the course, basically. The internet's full of people who tell you all about the stuff that you can have if you do their course. They don't tell you about them. So I have to tell you about me, because I'm not a good salesman. So all I can do is tell you my experience. It's very important that you understand that, let's say here's neutral. This is like how you feel. And it might be an anxious neutral, but there you go. The processes that we're working with go this way. Yeah. So at the end of the practice, worst case scenario is you feel the way you felt when you went into it. Best case scenario, you're blissed out and everything's fantastic. Okay. Because there is so much misinformation about emotional release, emotional resilience, emotional regulation, working with your emotions from people who I don't really, absolutely, really don't think have any experience of it when you hear them talking about it. So that I did that for a few years, and this came about through meditation. So it was a meditative practice. We'll be doing a lot of practices that can trigger this experience. Some of them are meditations and some of them aren't typical meditations, but there's nothing that can't be done as a meditation. And so then I carried on meditating. Some friends asked me at a party if I could teach them to meditate, and I started teaching meditation at St. Mark's Church in the community room. And then I carried on doing that, and I started teaching courses. And so, I mean, there's a bit of spiel here about what I do for all of those people that don't know me. I have run over 2,500 classes now. I run about 6 classes a week, courses, classes, retreats, workshops. I've worked with some of the largest organizations in the world. I've worked with the NHS, which I think is one of the top 5 in terms of employees and probably in terms of expenditure in the world. I've been with them since 2015. I've taught over 1,000 staff in an NHS trust at Darren Valley Hospital, and I continue to do that. I teach with work with local organisations. I work with third sector organisations, with the staff, with their service users. So that's me. That's what I do. Like I said, the thing that kind of motivated me the most, actually, to take up teaching meditation is the thing that I haven't done in the past, because I stopped because I wanted to teach meditation to as many people as possible. But now I've got so many students, and there's so many people have been through my classes and courses. And there's a lady that called me up today. She'd just been to a talk a few years ago, and she's been meaning to come along to one of the courses. So she's coming along to one of the courses. So, and what I see is that there's a limit in potential. So it's not just limit in potential in meditation. You know, you remember what I was saying about how where we can get stuck in maintenance mode. And the potential is actually huge. Potential is to dispense with all of your baggage, and then you have another potential. Yeah, you can fulfill your potential for happiness and for success. And all of that's limited because of the baggage. Because although we may be in maintenance mode, what we're doing is stopping any more baggage accumulating, which is great. I'm not knocking it, but we're not free of it still, and it keeps coming back over and over again. And that desire to re-engage with you all, and with anybody new who has meditation experience, who is in that place, is the purpose of the Deepening course. So that's why I'm doing it. Right, so exactly what is it? Let me just see if I can get this up on Zoom. Which is something that oh, here we go, actually. Yeah. and share content, photos. Done. Right. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
The pyramid. Good, good, good.
Yep.
Okay. So these are the resources that are available to you if you sign up for the deepening course. So one that's freely accessible anyway, Loving Awareness Meditation Course podcast. So there's 137 classes there. And it's probably something like 130, 140 on YouTube that don't, I've got, interestingly, my YouTube subscriber count's growing, but not very fast. So a lot of people are using that as a resource. So you kind of got 200 or 300 podcast episodes, classes, parts of courses, training of one sort or another. It's too much. Okay, it's not structured. It's a huge amount of resources there for me to refer you to during the deepening course. Then there's the in-person meditation classes. So some of you come along regularly in Bromley. You know, if you subscribe to the deepening course, that's free of charge. The meditation course is an ongoing online meditation course. You have access to that as well. So the one subscription covers both of both the deepening course and the meditation course. The 6-week mindfulness courses, what I don't want is somebody gaming the pricing, subscribing to the deepening course just so that they can attend a 6-week mindfulness course and then bail out at the end of the month. But doesn't apply to any of my students. I know you all well enough. But if you want to take or retake the 6-week mindfulness course while you're subscribed to the deepening course, you can do that. And then there's the deepening course itself. And what the deepening course consists of, it's got less to do with a structured, here's a foundation, then you learn that, then you learn that, then you learn that. It's actually more about themes. And the reason for that is because the practices that you'll be able to use that will help you to release difficult emotions will vary from one person to another. So I'm kind of going to start with the ones that I know work the best, and we'll work through those. So the actual structure of the course I'll come to a little bit later on, but view it as something that you stick to while you're still getting enough value from it to justify being on it. It's as simple as that. And these themes will run throughout the entire course. So the themes, I've split them up into processes. I don't want to hook anybody into something that they need to continue forever. The goal of it is really to help you build a process that helps you to release your emotional baggage, let go of the limiting beliefs, the limiting emotions, and grow. But it's a process. If I teach, you know, this is like give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a person to fish, feed them for a lifetime. I want to teach you to fish. Yeah. And so I'll be teaching processes. So there's principles, founding principles of this, and I'll come to those. there's processes, there's pillars. These are the areas that we'll largely be working in. And pillars, principles, processes. That's the fundamentals of it. Today, what we're going to do is get into some of those. Okay, yeah. So that explains who I am, why I'm doing it. It explains what it is at a very high level. You've got what it is. It explains the purpose of it, and then it comes down to how do you get it. So to subscribe, I don't want you to just subscribe. Looking at the people who've joined me today, I can't see anybody who I don't think would be fine joining the course. So, let me know in advance. Don't just subscribe on the meditation course website. That's just how we'll manage the payments. To start off, we'll have a call this coming week. So the way it works is there's group training week 1, then there's a one-to-one coaching session week 2, and then week 3 another training, and then another coaching session. This happens all through the school year. I have decided to follow the school timetable because I know that, a lot of people are either away on holiday or something related to there being kids about actually gets in the way of the training. The course is essentially, it's going to be continuous, but what I've done is split it up into 2 semesters, and all a semester is like half a year. It doesn't mean that at the end of the first semester we'll have completed the structured elements of the course or any such thing. I'm not mad about using these words, but essentially it's a journey. It's a journey for a group of people who are all working to understand the mind and working to understand the practices, principles, pillars, and processes that work for them. So you'll be able to both learn from each other, and you'll also get guidance from me and specific guidance. So it's only with the advent of people being used to things like Zoom that this has been possible. If I'd have tried it a few years ago, it would have been tricky because people weren't comfortable with Zoom for either the group sessions or the individual one-to-ones and so on. But now we can do that, or even just a phone call is fine. Then what that means is that I can help people to fine-tune their training and stop them getting bogged down, stop them getting distracted, so that you're constantly making progress. And that's the structure of it. And it will be done on Zoom. I will also make recordings available, and you'll be able to link to them through the website in the same way that you link to recordings through the meditation course website. I'll guide people through this as well. So I'm not just going to throw you at the training and say, here, get on with it. I'll actually guide you through it so that you get everything that you need. And because there are so many online resources, I'm in a position to, one of the things I've learned doing quite a lot of one-to-one training recently is that I can end the coaching session and I can say, access this resource, access that resource. And it's also, this isn't about heavyweight meditation. It's that at the time when I was doing the most of this work, I was meditating once or twice a fortnight. Most of you have either got a meditation practice or you've had one, and you want people drop into meditation, they drop out of it. And I think that it's not necessary to do a huge amount of meditation. It is necessary for you to find the best possible time in a week to do it in. So you've got to have let's say Sunday afternoon is the only time that your mind isn't addled by the week, like mine. This is basically, I was a Sunday afternoon meditator. The stress that I experienced Monday to Friday then bled into Saturday. And, Sunday morning was some sort of struggle to recover from the sleep deprivation just in time for Monday. But I had Sunday afternoons. So what I'd do is I'd go out into the countryside to get away from all of this, to be able to meditate. And I'm aware that not necessarily everybody can do that. So it's also about helping you to find a place and time based on what I've heard from people so that you can do the practices. Okay. So I think now might be a good time if anybody has any questions.
Robert, did you say you would record each group session? Yeah. If we miss one, we'll be able to listen to it, right?
Yeah. They'll all be available online. What I'll do is very probably put them in an unlisted YouTube playlist, which is where I've got quite a lot of. So most people have got YouTube. It's relatively easy to access.
So is this the first one, counted as the first one? So next week would be 1-to-1.
Yes. Yeah. So the first thing that I'd like to do is to speak to everybody. Yeah. So quite apart from anything else, we need an orientation session. Now the coaching, the 1-to-1 coaching, there's nothing magical about it. It's two things. One is I'm your accountability buddy. I'm not there to tell you off, but I'm there to remind you of the promises that you made to yourself. And I'm also there to offer you, from my experience, all the many different ways that other students have managed to overcome whatever barrier it is that you're finding. And of course, then there is also guidance around the practices, because it's very easy to, even if you practice something once and there's some supplementary information about it, it's very easy, like happened to me with the inner body meditation, which was a fortunate thing. It's very easy to get it wrong, or to miss something that actually will make all of the difference for you. And so that's the coaching element of it. Accountability buddy and a bit of guidance based on my experience of what I've learned from the students, and also from what I know myself based on my knowledge of the practices.
How will you give each of us a 1-to-1 then? You wouldn't be able to be with all of us.
No, that's right. Yeah, so it's all separate. Yeah, you get a 20. Sorry, Carol.
So do you mean we'd have, I don't know, I'd be 6 o'clock, someone else 7 o'clock, or?
Yeah, we can work it out from one week to another. There's a very handy app called Calendly. What happens is I give you a link, and up pops all of the times that I'm available, and you go click.
I see. So it wouldn't always be 7 o'clock on that alternate week.
No, that's right. And you can also go into Calendly and make changes. Bearing in mind it's only a call, it's the sort of thing I can do when I'm, it doesn't really matter where I am. So, today I'm in contingent work, so I might be at home, I might even be out and about. I'll just go and sit in a cafe.
So it could be any time of the day that we pre-arrange with you.
Yeah, there are certain times that I find it very difficult to be available, and basically it's not possible. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings. However, this course will run on Wednesday evenings, so it's every other week. In the intervening week, that Wednesday evenings I'll have free. So, if you're somebody that can make it on Wednesday evenings, you could have your one-to-one session and your attendance at the training session, the group training session on Wednesday evenings.
I see. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm.
Good. Yeah. So all very sensible, practical questions.
Hi, Robert. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes. Is that Danielle?
Yeah. Hi. I thought you said there's an app that we can go on to see when you're available and when you're not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, it'll be a link. So I'll send you the link.
Okay, lovely. Thank you.
So basically, the way it'll work from here, you just contact me, tell me you'd like to sign up. I'll send you the link to Calendly, the schedule, answer any questions you've got. So I'm quite happy to, I think it's really important, actually, that I guide people into the course. I don't think this is it's not like the 6-week mindfulness course where I give you this information and then you rock up. I'll guide you into it because everybody's different, used to working in different ways. So it's not an app, it's a link. So you'll click on the link and there'll be these times available. It's a little bit like booking in a restaurant. If you've ever used Open Table.
Yeah, that's fine.
Calendly is just like Open Table.
Perfect.
And Ruth's asked, will we be interacting with each other, breakout rooms and so on? And the answer is not at first, but that is my plan. And the reason for not at first is because I need to get a process up and running to ensure that effectively everything gets moderated. For instance, person A asks advice of person B in one of the breakout rooms, and person B, with the best will in the world, misinforms person A, which stunts, literally, bang, their progress stops. Because they misinterpreted something I said. And then everybody else, groupthink being the way it is, also concurs with that. And so then you've got a little microculture operating. At some point in the future, we'll have peer mentors. Oh yeah, pricing structure. Susie wants to know how much it is. Sensible question. It's £87 a month. Yeah. And the way the payments will be structured through the meditation course website. So for instance, if you were to go to the meditation course website now, where the subscription button is, which is in the bottom right-hand corner, a little green thing, some of you may be subscribed already. So this is the most important thing. If you're subscribed to the meditation course or subscribed to any of my training, you need to unsubscribe because I don't want you to be charged twice. and then you subscribe, but that's just for payment. So yeah, and so that's £87 per month for each month that you're subscribed. And so you're thinking to yourself, well, if it's only running during the school year, what about August and so on? And at the end of the day, right, if people are going to go on holiday, unsubscribe, resubscribe when you come back. If you're going to be around and you want to use all of the other things, all of the other training, the meditation course and so on, you might choose to stay subscribed. But my goal isn't to hook people into a never-ending subscription. My goal is to get you up to a process that gives you what you need as soon as I can. Yes, right. So Susie also asks, can you join at a later date? And the answer is absolutely.
Yeah.
So I kind of expect this to be a hop on, hop off experience for a lot of people. Yeah. I know this is unconventional. This isn't how training has, but there's more training like this. This is, I think they call it hybrid training. So you've got two training formats and you're running them alongside each other or in tandem or every other week, like in this case. And I think somebody was just about to ask a question, Hannah.
Would we need to commit for whole months, or can we say, well, we'll be on for 2 weeks in a month and then off for the other 2?
Right. Yeah. The system that I've got only allows monthly subscriptions.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it doesn't have a weekly subscription option.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's only yes, there's nothing I can do about that.
Robert, you suggested that if we were like away on holiday, we could unsubscribe it, well, in summer.
I'm thinking about all summer. Yeah.
Yeah. In the summer then, to access your other things, we wouldn't be able to, so to speak.
Well, okay. So let's say you're away for a month or two. What I would do if it was me, I'd say, oh, okay, I'll run the subscription in the month that I'm here and then cancel it and then join. Let's say I just wanted to join the meditation course online classes, just the meditation classes. I'd subscribe to that for a month or so.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah.
Change the subscription then back to,
that's the one.
For what we're doing now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the system really understands. It'll let you have 2 subscriptions. So what you need to do is cancel one and subscribe to the other.
Right. So we can sort of go back and forth then with the subscriptions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do expect people, life being the way it is, this is one of the reasons I'm doing this. The idea is that it's running continuously, like the meditation course runs continuously. The meditation course is not a structured start on this, then learn that course. It's a course of regular meditation classes. And the group training will be largely distinct. I can't see that any 2 training sessions would be the same. You don't get 2 training sessions the same from Robert, even when he's teaching the same thing. And the reason for that is I don't teach by rote. So I'm not running through a list although I might, for example, be using some slides. They're only there as an aide-memoire to keep me going and to reinforce in your mind that information's there for the slides. it's never there because I need to go through all of those things in it. It's just there to provide a little bit of structure. And what I do then is I teach to the group. So a lot of you have been along to my classes, and you'll know the difference. I'll say it in the class. I'll say, right, because we've got a lot of experienced meditators today, we'll do this. On another day, we might get half a dozen people pop up. And so here's the thing as well. Everybody on this is going to be an experienced meditator. There's not going to be any, I'm not going to teach anyone to meditate here. I expect you to either have a practice or have had a practice. And so, for example, if I'm running a class and there are only new meditators, then those new meditators, I'll do some basics. But the basics in meditation are also the advanced. I remember I had a student, he just kept going on about, when are you going to teach the advanced meditation? And so I tried to explain to him, and he didn't get it. And I said, okay, just for you, today we'll do the most advanced meditation that there is. We did following the breath. So that's it. That's all you need. All of this, most of the emotional release work comes from that. That's a precursor to it. It's the thing that takes you to the place you need to go to be able to access the emotions. And in the process, you're also accessing the baggage, the beliefs that are causing that emotion. Okay.
Robert?
Any other? Yes, Laura.
Yeah, Laura. So because you said the course is continuous and you will be offering it, well, you don't know for how long, but for a while anyway. One could if one is not ready now, you could join later. What, the first of the month, on any month?
Oh, you can actually subscribe at any point. So all you'd need to do is contact me and say, I'd like to, and if for any reason I thought it would be in your interests to wait a week or two before you started, or to start now, I'd let you know and explain what we're doing.
Right.
Because I kind of, looking at this group, I kind of know you all reasonably well enough to, let's say there's a particular training session that I'm going to run, then that will be the one for you. Or if it's something you've done before, I'll say, well, let's give it another week because we'll be doing something different. So the answer is contact me and I'll help you find your way in. But essentially, because the practice is emotional release practices, got a list. So there's 12. Yep. There's 12. And these are all, they're all powerful. So let's say, for example, and we're not going to do this, I don't think we'll be able to, let's say we were to do, one each week, each training session, then we'd get through them in a semester. We might be able to do that. It depends how things go. But like I said, I teach to the group, not to, we're going to do this week. So if you've missed out, then that's no good. And I'm actually redressing 95% of the people there because I'm on the schedule. No, it's like having a bus that doesn't stop at the bus stops. So, you know, I'll work with the group and at the pace of the group, and that will change. And what it'll mean is some people, it'll be too slow, and some people it'll be too fast. There's always going to be somebody who feels like it's going too fast and somebody who feels like it's going too slow. When you're teaching the majority of the group at their speed, it's inevitable. And then, so if it's too fast, what you can do is hop off for a while, you know, and if it's too slow, you should be teaching me. I'm happy to learn. Yes, Helen.
Can I just ask you something about emotional baggage? I mean,
yes.
Okay, everybody has got emotional baggage, I'm sure. Supposing we're sort of happy to leave a certain part of our emotional baggage without disturbing it, you know, it's not causing anxiety, so to speak. I mean, do we have to dig it up or not?
No, right. No digging. No digging. Brilliant question. We do not dig. We experience what there is in the present moment. So right. There's some good and some quite unhelpful reasons that in therapy we go back to people's pasts. The good reason is they want help. So what they want to do is to try to find if there's something in the past that all of the rest of our suffering is built on, so that it can be identified and dealt with somehow, depending on what the therapy consists of. So they want to help. The other side of the coin, the unhelpful element of this, is exactly what it is. You're digging, right? And there is actually no need to dig, because the body brings this up. So if I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling anxious for a reason. Yeah. And ideally, we want to find out what that reason is. It's there. We don't have to dig. And in meditation, it's only at the present moment. So this isn't a kind of structured therapy in practice. We wouldn't be able to do what we're doing that way. It's not a something happened in the past.
No.
And therefore I need to come to terms with it. You decide what the source of your suffering is, but it's the suffering that you experience in the present moment. So that it's there for a reason. Yeah. So the example I use is that these all have an evolutionary foundation. All of our emotional states have an evolutionary foundation. An example of the evolutionary foundation is the primitive people that arrive at a wonderful new cave, and it's in a perfect place, and you've got a lovely view of the valley, and you've got all sorts of things that you could possibly want, but it's infested with snakes. And the idea of the increase in your anxiety is so that your discomfort at the snake infestation overcomes, okay, take care, Tracy, overcomes your desire to stay in the nice new semi-detached cave that you've found. So there's an inconsistency there. Cave's nice, but there are snakes. And what's designed to happen is for the emotion that's associated with threat to elevate to the point where it overcomes your desire to stay in that place and causes you to move away from it. And basically that's how all the anxiety and fears operate. They're there for a good reason. And so if we feel anxiety as a chronic experience, like I wake up in the morning, I'm anxious, I go to bed, I'm anxious, I'm having neutral experiences, I'm anxious, it's a message. It's a message from the mind and the body telling us, what it's doing is it's telling us there's some work to be done because it's polluting our neutral experience, and we've got chronic stress. Chronic anxiety leads to chronic stress. Chronic stress is not good for our physical and mental health. So what we want to be able to do is to work with the physical emotion, the anxiety, reduce the chronic anxiety, reduce the stress, get our neutral present moments back. And all of the discomfort is there to be dealt with. And it'll pop up. What needs to be resolved? Well, it's guidance. There's a spiritual teacher called Adyashanti. He calls it fierce grace. Grace is the unbidden gift of God. What did I ever do to deserve what I experience? Nothing. That's grace. So there it is. Fierce grace is, yeah, it's still the unbidden gift of God. I'm an agnostic, but I believe I'm connected to the universe, and it's the universe saying, here's a gift, and the gift is suffering, and it's there for you to learn from it. So we won't go digging. We just work with what there is.